Should you move to North Carolina? For most people, I would say yes. It's a decent state. North Carolina is one of those states that looks almost suspiciously well-rounded. You've got mountains to the west, beaches to the east, major job centers in the middle, and enough small towns to keep every relocation YouTuber employed until retirement. But moving to North Carolina isn't just about choosing between Raleigh, Charlotte, Asheville, or some place where the local Dollar General serves as the unofficial town square. North Carolina has some weird stuff you should know about before you start calling realtors. So today we're skipping all the obvious stuff like hillbillies and hurricanes and looking at the important stuff that other YouTubers haven't already done, or at least not done to death. Let's take a look. Number 10, happy hour is under government supervision. North Carolina doesn't allow traditional alcohol happy hours. A restaurant can offer discounted food for a few hours, but reduced drink prices generally has to remain available the entire business day. 2-for-1 promotions and several other common drink specials are absolutely prohibited. It's almost like the state looked at happy hour and said, you know what, it looks like those people are having a good time. And that could be dangerous. So your local bar is going to discount chicken wings from 4 to 6, but a discounted beer washing them down requires an all-day administrative commitment. Now, this isn't a big deal and it's not a reason not to move there. It's just something you should be aware of. It's kind of weird. And as you'll see in this video, for all it's good, North Carolina likes to control some things a lot of other states don't care about. So yeah, newcomers shouldn't reject North Carolina because of this. Number 9, it's getting too popular. That's right, North Carolina has become very popular. Over the last handful of years, they've been in the top 5 for the most moved to states. They're also in the most 5 Googled states all the time. In 2025, they were the 3rd fastest growing state in the union, growing by 1.3%. And it's not far from number 1, which is South Carolina at 1.5%. That doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're looking at a state's population, that is a big deal. The average for the nation right now is 0.71%. I mean, poke around on YouTube. Look at how many videos are out there talking about how great North Carolina is. I've mentioned it on this channel before, but I know several YouTubers packed up from California and moved to North Carolina. They're not from North Carolina. They just know it's a good deal with a lot to offer, and off they went. No, North Carolina is not perfect, but compared to most states, it's doing outstanding, and people know this. So the problem with it is, it's not going to be as nice as it is in the next 10 years. The cities are going to get a little too crowded. Those small towns are going to kind of blow up a little bit. And then 20 years after that, everyone's going to find a new place that's hot, like maybe California again, and they're going to head that direction. And North Carolina is going to have to sell all the schools and pay the bills for the infrastructure they built up for those new people. It's the cycle of life here in the United States. No state is terribly popular forever. Number 8, renters just can't stop paying rent when repairs stop happening. North Carolina landlords, like all states, are required to keep rental properties fit and habitable. However, renters can't just stop paying rent because the landlord hasn't made repairs. State law says that rent can't be withheld before a court determines that the tenant has the right to do so. That can surprise newcomers from states where withholding rent or deducting repair costs is a more established option. North Carolina is only one of 13 states where it's actually illegal to stop paying rent because your landlord hasn't fixed things. In North Carolina, if you stop paying rent like that, you could get a 10-day notice to quit. So in North Carolina, even if the air conditioner has become a decorative appliance and the ceiling is developing its own indoor weather system, simply refusing to pay rent can put a tenant at risk of eviction. If you are a renter and you move to North Carolina, make sure you report any problems in writing. That's what the state website suggests. Save photos and messages, contact local code enforcement when necessary, and get legal advice before touching the rent money. Your landlord might be ignoring leaks and things like that, but the court will remain extremely interested in whether your check is cleared. If you haven't paid your rent to the landlord and you're in court trying to get them to do something, your case is over and you lost. Now, if you're coming from a state where this is just common knowledge and this is what you do, that's how it is. Not every state does this. Like I said, only 13 states do it this way. Number 7, buying a beach house may include unwanted guests. Imagine closing on your dream North Carolina beach house, collecting keys, and discovering a family from Ohio is scheduled to occupy it next Saturday. Yeah, this is a thing. Under North Carolina's Vacation Rental Act, when a property with existing vacation rental agreements is voluntarily sold, the new owner generally takes the property subject to the reservation ending within 180 days. Now, the seller must disclose the rental periods before the sale contract is signed and later provide information about the tenant and the agreement. This just stops people from making their plans 4 or 5 months out. They get to North Carolina and find out they don't have a place to stay, which is kind of rude. So I get this one, totally understand it. But it means that a coastal vacation rental doesn't necessarily give you immediate control of every date on the calendar. You could own a house while someone else has already reserved the right to spend Thanksgiving in it, leave sand throughout the living room, and complain about your can opener. So before buying a short-term rental, request the complete booking calendar. Every rental agreement, advance payment record, management contracts, cancellation policies, and any fees owed by the property manager. Don't just go for the vague statement that, oh, we got a few bookings. Find out exactly how many strangers are already planning to use your shower. You don't want to get your house all set up and then have to turn it over to a family from Chattanooga and then do it on the new sheet you bought for your new house. Number 6, rural property could come with a family cemetery. North Carolina has thousands of old family graves and abandoned cemeteries, some sitting on private rural property. That peaceful wooded corner behind the house with that rock garden, that might be Uncle Ray and Aunt Mavis. Descendants, representatives, and certain people with legitimate historical interests can visit graves with the landowner's consent. When consent is refused, they may petition the county clerk for supervised court access. The court can literally give you daylight hours, dates, and designate a route across the property when the legal requirements are met. You might have to get a police escort to go see, put flowers on Aunt Mavis's grave. And before you think about it, moving graves isn't a weekend landscaping project either. North Carolina has formal requirements involving government approval, public notice, attempts to contact relatives, reinterment, documentation, and expenses paid by the party arranging the move. So before buying acreage, walk the entire property, examine the survey, review old deeds, and ask specifically about graves or burial grounds. You may be purchasing 5 beautiful acres, a farmhouse, and a collection of permanent residents who are not included in the listing photos. Man, if I tried to buy property, my wife found out there was a grave on it, she would not be that pleased. I doubt she'd move in there. I doubt I'd be able to buy it. I'll never tell her that, there's people buried just about everywhere. It depends on how far down you go. Human beings have been dying on this planet for a very long time. Number 5, the septic permit. A large rural lot doesn't automatically mean you could build whatever you want. County environmental health officials determine whether land is suitable for a septic system, and septic records are generally maintained at a local level. So you gotta jump through some hoops just so you could drop a deuce in your own property. A lot of people forget things like that. They move out to the rural areas, and let's say it's a new plot of land, they want to build their dream house. Well, there's no plumbing out there. I mean, the sewer system doesn't go out to your rural place that's 20 miles outside of town. This is true for just about any state, but there are a few states, including North Carolina and California, that are really picky when it comes to this. Here's where a lot of people get stuck. They build their house, everything's fine. A few years later, they want to build a guest room. Your septic system isn't big enough. That could be another problem. Your new workshop, your garage, they've got to have a septic system that can handle it just like someone would be living in those rooms. They go by the square footage of the house, and the garage, and the barn. Before buying rural property, obtain a septic permit, site plan, repair area location, and inspection records. You might buy 5 acres of land, but your septic system is only built for one small 2-bedroom house. And that sucks. I mean, the biggest problem with this is all the hoops and all the bureaucracy you gotta go through. Number 4, coastal properties and moving lines. Alright, so this one gets kind of complicated, but I'm going to dumb it down so it's easy to digest. If you build a house or buy a house along the coast, you have to worry about shoreline erosion rates and the location of stable natural vegetation. This can matter when building a new house, replacing a damaged structure, adding improvements, or buying an older home on a lot that no longer meets current standards. Some non-conforming properties may face serious restrictions on rebuilding in the same footprint after major damage. So let's say they get a bad season, a big hurricane, a couple tropical storms, and it erodes the beach pretty good. So it's almost like your property isn't as big as it used to be, because all property lines end at the shoreline. You buy a piece of property on the coast, you think, okay, well, I'm going to build a nice house here and da-da-da-da-da, instead of this old shack that's there. Well, when you get there, you find out that it's too close and there's not enough vegetation and they're not going to let you build what you wanted. So before purchasing coastal property, don't stop at flood zones. Check all the classifications: erosion rates, setback lines, septic locations, buildable envelope, and whether the existing house could legally be replaced. Oceanfront ownership is beautiful, but the ocean has never signed the property line agreement. Number 3, your employer doesn't have to give you a break. North Carolina law doesn't require employers to provide meal breaks or rest breaks for workers who are over the age of 16. So whether you receive lunch, coffee, or 5 uninterrupted minutes of staring off into the middle distance, it's kind of up to your employer, not you or the state. They don't get involved. When an employer voluntarily provides a short break, such as, the 15 minutes or whatever, it's got to be paid. Unpaid must be at least 30 minutes. So like your lunch, they're not going to pay you for your lunch. A lot of states don't do that, but this one's kind of weird where they don't even have to give you 15 minutes. Most states require at least 15 minutes. I don't know, it's like every 4 hours. Anyone moving for a job could ask about the break policies, paid time off, sick leave, scheduling, and overtime before accepting the position. Don't assume the rules you had in California, Oregon, Washington, New York, and any other state that actually cares about the employees is going to have the same rules. They just don't. Your new employer may offer you a generous benefit package, or it may offer you a chair near the microwave and tell you not to get too comfortable. Number 2, it sucks to be a public employee. North Carolina can be a very different workplace for teachers, firefighters, sanitation workers, and other state and local government employees moving from heavily unionized states. North Carolina's state law declares collective bargaining agreements between government agencies and labor organizations representing public employees to be illegal and void. Public employee strikes are also prohibited, and participation in one can actually bring criminal penalties. That's like what happens to you when you join the Army. If you don't have strikes when you're in the Army, it's illegal and you go to jail for it. These people are treating employees like they're in the Army. Now, public employees can still join professional union organizations, communicate complaints, and advocate for policy changes. What they generally can't do is negotiate a binding union contract with their government employer in the way public workers can in some other states. Now, this all matters when you're comparing salaries. A North Carolina teacher or government position may look competitive on a job board, but applicants should also compare raises, grievance procedures, job protections, retirement benefits, and who can actually negotiate for you. Honestly, look at the fine print when you take a job in North Carolina or some of these other states that are kind of hostile towards unions. What do you think about unions? I've never been in one. My wife was in one and she liked it. I've always been on the fence. What are your views on it? Let me know in the comment section. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to North Carolina or any state really, there's a link for Home and Money in the comment section below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, insurance rate shenanigans. North Carolina has a fun little insurance feature called consent to rate, which sounds harmless enough until you realize it basically means the insurance company can come along and go, yeah, the state approved rate isn't quite enough for us, so we're going to charge you more. Homeowner insurance rates also went up an average of 7.5% on June 1st in 2025, then climbed another 7.5% on June 1st, 2026. And if you're anywhere near the coast, wind and hail coverage may not be included in the regular policy. That can be a separate policy with a separate deductible because apparently one insurance bill wasn't exciting enough. Don't make an offer on a house that's based on some cheerful online estimate or whatever the seller says they used to pay. Get an actual quote for the exact property. Ask whether wind and hail are included, look closely at the deductible, and find out whether the company is using that consent to rate shenanigans or not. So, should you move to North Carolina? Honestly, North Carolina still can be a great place to move. The income tax is relatively low. There are several solid job markets, major universities, rural land, mid-sized cities, mountain towns, coastal communities. You've got options here. But North Carolina is one of those states where you need to research the exact address, not fall in love with the idea of living there. 2 houses with the same price can come with wildly different insurance costs, road responsibilities, water systems, school schedules, zoning rules, healthcare access, and future tax bills. So in conclusion, North Carolina is worth considering. Just bring a good inspector. The rain in Spain falls 1-1-2-2, 1-1-2-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. The rain in Spain, the rain. All right. But moving to North Carolina isn't just about choosing between Raleigh, Charlotte, Asheville. Where's the T from? Asheville. A place where the local Dollar General is like the town square, minus teeth. It used to be the Piggly Wiggly. They even have those anymore? Piggly Wigglies? Look that up. There is. Over 500 Piggly Wigglies left. I thought they went out of business or something or got bought up by someone else. They need to have one out here just so we could go to it. I mean, what a name for a business. Piggly Wiggly. Piggly Wiggly. Sounds like something we called an asthmatic kid in 9th grade. The state has opinions on summer vacations. You know, this one sucks. I don't like this one. It's kind of stupid. I mean, you're talking about a state that mandates when everyone's got to be in school, no matter what the communities think. And then, I don't know, it's just weird. I get it, but it just doesn't belong here. We're axing that one. Renters can't stop paying the mortgage. Wait, the renters can't stop paying the rent, not the mortgage. What the hell am I talking about? You find out they've been knocking one out on your silk sheets. You don't even know who they are. At least they can invite you to the party. How would you like that? I mean, get some dead people living on your lawn or on your, the woods behind your house, and they're there all the time and they're not your relatives. I mean, it's one thing to have a cemetery across the street, but when you're sitting there with, dead people you don't even know in your backyard and their family wants to come by every once in a while, just hope it's not a Mexican family. I mean, those people at the cemetery go off. I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood. They know how to celebrate someone's death, and it usually involves tequila and at least one fist fight. All right, that's today's video. If you enjoyed this one, you're going to love this one. It's about state origin stories, but I did it a lot different. Check it out. Everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other.